Good evening, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 3rd of September. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Bumblebees might be part of the solution to the avocado industry's boom and bust cycle of trees producing one year and not the next, says Avaco Technical Manager Colin Partridge. Avocado growers will hear the latest research findings on the use of bumblebees as pollinators at the Australian-New Zealand Avocado Conference in Tauranga next week from Dr. David Patamore, a pollination scientist at the New Zealand Institute for Plant and Food Research. The researchers started by building artificial nesting boxes to attract bumblebees. A pilot trial was run in 5 Bay of Plenty avocado orchards, which were monitored to determine the percentage of hives occupied and the size of the colonies achieved. And this information will direct future research. David says bumblebees are social bees like honeybees, and scientists do not have the same methods for managing them, but it is worth investigating as growers could eventually be able to reduce their reliance on honeybees and get away from relying on a single species. A total of 15 people have been caught driving while under the influence of drugs in the last 6 months in the Western Bay of Plenty. Sergeant Mike Owen says officers' enforcement in the Western Bay of Plenty of drug drivers is very good. A new road safety campaign on New Zealand television is directly targeting cannabis users who drive under the influence. The New Zealand Transport Agency ads target drivers in their 30s to 40s who think it's okay to drive after using cannabis. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton rain developing with a fresh westerly. Your expected high is 15 and an overnight low of 2. Tauranga rain developing with a fresh westerly. Your expected high is 15 and an overnight low of 4. Just ahead, the Cambridge Avantidrome. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The construction of the Avantidrome in Cambridge is progressing quickly, but you can back the track. I spoke with Jeff Baum to find out how.
You can go to our website, homeofcycling.org.nz, and use your credit card or send us a cheque and fill out the details, $250, and you can own a metre of track.
For those who don't know, what is the Avantidrome for?
The Avantidrome is going to become the National Cycling Centre of Excellence, and it was a key part of an idea that says let's get all of Bike NZ and all the cycling sports into this area, and then go forward with a high performance program that enables everybody to share each other's ideas, work together, train in one place, and it needs to be the hub for road cycling, track cycling, BMX and mountain bike. And it's going to be a high performance hub with other sports being involved, and already the likes of triathlon have confirmed that they'll be coming here and running their high performance program from here as well.
How else is the Avantidrome construction being funded? The
construction, it's a $28.5 million project. $7 million is coming from central government, around $7 million is coming from local government, the Waikato Regional Council and Waipa District Council. A significant amount of money, again another sort of $5 million or so, is coming from some of the major gaming trusts such as Lion Foundation, New Zealand Community Trust, Grassroots Trust, First Sovereign Trust, and then the balance is coming from corporate and individual funding through sponsorship, Back to Track and some other initiatives that we've got underway.
How long until she opens her doors?
We quietly think that by Christmas we'll sneak a few bikes on the track, and that the German track builder, he will be here from Labour Weekend, and his plan is to be done by the 15th of December, and he tells us that once he's gone you can ride it. So we're hoping that we'll have some people riding by then, but for the community, for the wider public, it'll be probably late February, early March, and then we're going to have our official opening at the end of March in conjunction with the 2014 Track Cycling Nationals.
What are the numbers? You know, how big is the building? How long's the track?
Okay, the whole building's about 8,500 square metres of space. The arena area where the track is, that's slightly longer than a rugby field and slightly wider than a rugby field. And then the track itself is 250 metres long, which is the required standard for an international track these days. And then adjacent to the arena is a 2,500 square metre office building over 3 floors, and when we're up and running, that'll be housing about 80 people who come to work there each day, plus another 80 to 100 athletes who will be coming in there each day. And then we'll expect over the course of the day that an average day, maybe another 250 people will come through the building to enjoy the cafe, go and ride on the track, use the gym and so forth.
Now they're using new technology for the roof.
Yeah, the roof is a colour steel product from New Zealand Steel, and it's called Bounce, and it's got some enhanced solar reflection type coatings and stuff in it, and the idea that it's then better for insulating the building, keeping things in and keeping things out. So we're a little bit of a test site. It's a well-tested product, but it's only just arrived in New Zealand, and so they came on board seeing it as a high-performance product and wanting to be consistent with our whole high-performance theme.
How are you going to make this the centre of performance cycling in New Zealand?
Well, firstly, because we will be the home of cycling, the National Cycling Centre of Excellence, then the reality is, with Bike NZ now going to operate a centralised program, if you want to cycle for New Zealand in any of the cycling disciplines, you're going to have to get on your bike and come to Cambridge. So it's not dissimilar to rowing now. The reality is with rowing, they've got a very successful program run from Karapiro, and if you're a young rower now, you know that at some stage you're going to have to get to Karapiro if you aspire to go to the Olympics or to the World Championships. Well, cycling's going to be that. We'll follow that model, and other sports are starting to follow that model as well.
What are some of the sports excellence organisations that are coming here?
High Performance Sport New Zealand is a key tenant here. They'll bring a number of service providers who are providing services to a variety of sports, not just cycling and triathlon and rowing, but to other high performance athletes based here in the Waikato area. They will be our largest tenant from a area point of view, but Bike NZ with their head office and their high performance program and their coaches and their community program, they'll be our largest tenant on a head count basis. And then we've also got triathlon coming here with half a dozen people. The University of Waikato will be here. We'll have a cafe, a Vanti shop, and that will contribute to about 80 people working permanently in the building here.
Will beginners be able to use the track as well?
Absolutely. Bike NZ will only use about 30% of the track time, and so the rest of the track time that's available, 60, 70 hours a week, is all available for the community to use. And so it provides both a huge opportunity and a wonderful challenge to us to try and create programs and things that will work. And we've been looking at other successful velodromes around the world and saying what's worked for them and what sort of programs can we copy, and we're about to start rolling those out so people can start lining up.
Why do you think Cambridge is, the perfect spot for the centre of cycling?
There was a number of reasons. One was the natural attributes that we've got. We already are a strong road cycling area around here. With the Te Awamutu Track Cycling Club, we've got a strong club. We're also near Rotorua, and the mountain bike services and facilities available in Rotorua are a key part of this. Between Te Awamutu and Cambridge, we've got 2 very good BMX clubs with very good BMX tracks. We're close to the rest of the population for New Zealand. We've got the success that rowing's brought to the region, and of course we've got St Peter's School with its wonderful facilities to support what we're developing.
Visit the Home of Cycling's website to find out how you can back the track. Coming up next, an amazing story of survival to create awareness for Gynecological Cancer Month. Welcome back. Every 48 hours, a woman dies from ovarian cancer in New Zealand. It is the deadliest female cancer, but yet it is the least funded. September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. I spoke with an inspiring Mount Maunganui local who is fighting to raise awareness about the disease in a very unique way.
I'm off to Africa to climb Mount Kilimanjaro with about 20 to 25 other survivors and supporters of ovarian cancer.
And you're going to be creating a documentary as well.
I've been putting my story out there, and I was approached by a team of filmmakers who want to help me share this story They feel like it's an opportunity for international exposure, and my filmmakers actually come from all parts of the world. It's amazing.
You are a very rare case of, ovarian cancer, so you were diagnosed quite young. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it was very rare. I was actually born with it. It formed in the 3rd trimester of gestation when I was still in my mother's womb. And so the fact that it wasn't found until I was 10 years old is in itself amazing. And that in itself is the miracle. So when I was a young child, I had all of the symptoms of ovarian cancer, but it wasn't actually seen. Nobody was looking for the ovarian cancer in a child. So instead of taking my symptoms seriously, like my bedwetting, lots of kids wet the bed. The fact that I was a really fussy eater and I didn't eat very well, that was a symptom of fussiness instead of the symptoms of ovarian cancer. And also the fact that I complained a lot of stomach aches. But when I was a baby, I had colic. And then as I got older, they thought it was growing pains. And then as I got even older, they just thought, oh, she's just faking and she doesn't want to go to school. And they thought I had a school phobia.
You were the first person to trial aggressive treatment. Did it work?
That's a really good question. Yes, I was the first recipient to trial the combination drugs that were introduced in Canada at the time. So at the time that I was diagnosed, there was no chance of survival. So my mom's only chance was to donate my body to science to help find the cure for lesser advanced cases, because the cancer was so advanced that it had pretty much permeated into my lymphatic system, and there were lesions on my liver. So and because it was so rare, they didn't. They hadn't seen any surviving cases of it, so they thought this was a good opportunity for me to trial these chemo drugs. And yes, I suppose they did work, but I don't think it was. I think it was all a lot to do with strong willpower and the fact that I had no idea I was as sick as I was.
What effect did it have on your body?
I mean, I consider myself really lucky that I got out of that pretty unscathed. However, about 20 years later was probably when I started to notice the long-term side effects. And of course, because I was part of a trial, they were following me long-term to see how the chemotherapy drugs would affect someone down the road. And so the first signs were really my blood pressure. My blood pressure would skyrocket through the roof. So it's called, they called it essential hypertension, which means that it doesn't have any known rhyme or reason, but then I'd get malignant flare-ups. So my blood pressure would flare up to ridiculous, like double the normal height. At the highest, it was 210/170.
What are some of the effects of ovarian cancer? Can we get it when we're young, or is it better to be diagnosed earlier?
Yeah, well, it can be found in anybody, obviously from a child all the way up to an elderly person. So it's not a disease of old people, and I think that's one of the misconceptions about ovarian cancer, and perhaps one of the reasons why nobody talks about it. So the symptoms, like I mentioned earlier, are not being able to eat very well. You take a few bites and you feel full. Changes in your urinary or any of your functioning down there, any pain, particularly at nighttime, and bloating. And we all experience bloating. So the symptoms are so vague, but it's consistently having all of those symptoms for a period of time that you have to be really aware of.
What does climbing Mount Kilimanjaro symbolize? Well,
gosh, when I was asked to do this climb, instantly I knew in my heart that I wanted to do it. It was an important phase, the next phase that I knew that I was looking for, because I love the metaphor of Kilimanjaro. I just think that, it's the perfect metaphor for anybody who has been told that they've been diagnosed with cancer. That mountain just seems impossible. And how are you going to do this? But then, what are your options? You can just decide not to climb the mountain, or you just find the strength and you get a whole bunch of support around you and you just start taking those first steps. And, not everybody gets to the top. But that's not, you don't, just because you may not get to the top doesn't mean that you're not going to try. And that's what I want to do. I want to try to get to the top.
Do you think there needs to be that stronger awareness around ovarian cancer?
Absolutely. You know, ovarian cancer is the fifth biggest killer of women. And of all of the cancers, it's the least funded. And I find that really interesting. I didn't actually realize that until I started doing my own fundraising. And, you know, it's one of those cancers that people don't talk about. People just, I don't know whether it's because they think it's a death sentence, and so what's the point of raising money for a disease that nobody survives? I'm not quite sure, but I do know that women need to understand the symptoms, because when you're diagnosed with ovarian cancer in stage 3 and 4, your chances of survival are less than 20 to 30%. But if you're diagnosed in stage 1 and 2, your chances of survival are 90%. It's a huge jump, and so awareness is really the key.
You can keep up to date on Tracy's quest on Facebook under Tracy Pepper's Expedition of Hope. Just ahead, how to prepare for the digital switchover. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. The South Island and Hawke's Bay have already gone digital, and our turn is coming up near the end of the year. So what do we need to know? I found out. So when are the dates for Waikato and the Bay of Plenty?
Waikato, the Bay of Plenty, and indeed the whole of the Upper North Island are going digital on the 1st of December this year. So it's really important that if you value TV, you want to keep watching TV, that you've got Freeview, Sky or Igloo before then.
What does it exactly mean, going digital?
Going digital is the biggest change to TV since the introduction of colour broadcasting back in the 1970s. So it's the move from analogue broadcasting, which is the signal we've known and loved for the last 50-odd years, to digital, which offers more channels, better pictures and new services such as on-screen program guides.
And what benefits will it bring?
Well, for viewers, as I say, there's a number of benefits, more channels and better pictures, but for New Zealand as a whole, going digital will free up some radio spectrum, which we can then use for next generation mobile phone and data services, and in the long run, these are expected to be faster and cheaper for consumers.
Now, when you say digital, so it's going off the analogue, so does that affect how it's broadcast?
It affects how it's broadcast, but it also affects the equipment you need to be able to pick it up. So you need to have Freeview, Sky or Igloo to keep watching TV. You don't need a new TV though to go digital. All you need is a set-top box, which looks something like this. This is an example of a set-top box. There's a range of products on the market, and that plugs into your existing TV and into your aerial or satellite dish.
Why do we need to do it?
We need to do it in order to free up the radio spectrum for next generation mobile phone and data services.
So what do we need to know before the 1st of December?
Well, the good news is that most people have already gone digital. Nationally, more than 94% of homes are already watching digital TV. But what you do need to know is that every TV needs to go digital and every recorder needs to go digital. So if you want to record new programs, you might want to think about buying a new personal digital video recorder. And also think about any other TVs that you've got in your house. You might have Freeview or Sky on your main set, but if you've got a set in the bedroom that you want to keep using, that needs to go digital as well.
And can you give us a summary of the latest Digital Tracker survey?
Yes, the Digital Tracker is a piece of research we do that tells us how many people have gone digital. As I say, nationally, more than 94% of homes have now got digital TV. Here in the Upper North Island, it's about 92%, so more than 9 out of 10 homes have gone digital already. And at this stage, I'm really asking people to reach out to their friends and family and check that they know what they need to do, and if not, give them a hand.
So if basically after the 1st of December, if I don't have a digital box, I can't watch TV?
That's right. You either need a digital set-top box, which can look a bit like this, or you need a TV with Freeview built in. But if you haven't got Freeview, Sky or Igloo after the 1st of December, you won't be able to watch anything on your TV at all.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty serious.
Yeah. So what have been the most common misconceptions around going digital?
Look, the big question we get, well, there's two big questions we get. One is, do you need a new TV? The answer is no. Any TV can go digital with the right equipment, a set-top box like this. You might remember a couple of years back we ran a competition to find New Zealand's oldest telly, and the winning set was a 1958 do-it-yourself kit set job from Hokitika, and we made that go digital. So I'm pretty confident that anything else can go digital too. The second question we get really is around second TVs. What do I have to do with the set in the bedroom or the set in the kitchen or whatever? And as I say, the answer to that is you need to make that go digital too. Connect it to a set-top box and onto your existing aerial or satellite dish.
So the second TV has to get a separate box, does it?
That's right. For best results, you're best off having a set-top box on each TV.
Now, most of the country has gone digital already, so did that go quite smoothly?
It's gone very smoothly. We've switched over 3 regions. We did Hawke's Bay and the west coast of the South Island, and then the rest of the South Island just a couple of months back. It did go really well. More than 99% of homes have gone digital as a result of the switchover deadline. The risk is that if people wait till the last minute, they might find that installers get booked up, and we saw this in the South Island as well. And there were people who were left without TV for a couple of weeks because they needed an installer to help them put up a new aerial, and they couldn't get one at the last minute. So I'd really encourage people to go digital today, get on the phone. If they need an installer, book one in now so that there's not a rush at the last minute.
So what happened to the old analogue signal once we go digital?
Well, the analogue signal itself will be switched off. There's a number of transmitters around the country which will be dismantled and recycled, but the space in the airwaves that's used to broadcast analogue TV will be reused for new services such as telephone services.
Now, if there's anybody else out there who's probably not as technical savvy as myself, well, as technical savvy as me, which is really, really low, and I have no idea what does digital mean?
Digital is a new way of transmitting the pictures that you get. So essentially we're transmitting a stream of data to your TV, and your set-top box or the tuner in your Freeview built-in TV will decode that information stream and turn it back into a picture.
And so it's doing it from satellites, or it's...
Well, there's 2 options. All of New Zealand is covered by a satellite TV signal, and you can get Freeview or Sky on the satellite. In most parts of the Waikato and Bay of Plenty regions, you're also able to get Freeview or Igloo using a UHF aerial, which is broadcast from a transmission tower up on the hill Mount Te Aroha here in the Waikato.
For more information, visit goingdigital.co.nz. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved. So like us on Facebook. Let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be here again tomorrow night with more guests from in and around our regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.